folks, and welcome to another vlog from Homes at Heart. So today I'm going to be making my Christmas cakes for this year. So actually it's a little bit late, to be honest. We're probably about a week or so behind, just haven't got round to doing it with all the stuff that's been going on and things. So today's the day. So this is the third year now that I've made Christmas cakes. I haven't been doing it really for that long. I use quite a simple recipe, nothing fancy. And nothing too big or extravagant either. We're not huge Christmas cake lovers in the house, so we just make a tiny one, because sometimes, you know, when you just fancy that little bit but you just don't want like a massive cake. So I'm probably going to be making 3 really small ones today. I need to see what the mix makes, because I can't actually remember. I know I made 3 or 4 last year, and I use similar sized tins, but I can't remember if I doubled the mix or not, to be honest, and I've only got what I've got, so it'll have to make what it makes. So I'm only going to use the 6-inch cake tins, so 3 of those basically. So they are going to be really small, but they're kind of like the size that you get in the supermarket, and they're really expensive to buy for a fully iced Christmas cake with marzipan and everything and a bit of decoration. You're probably looking at around kind of 15 to 20 quid now. And it's really easy to make yourself. So if you haven't had a go, then follow along with me as part of this if you want to. It might be worth giving it a go and seeing how you get on. So yeah, I'm gonna make this now, run through the ingredients so you know what to use. So these are all the ingredients. So I just use a BBC Good Food classic Christmas cake recipe, but if you do it through the app, for some reason now it's asking for you to subscribe, which is really weird, because I took these screenshots last weekend from my phone and it's fine. And obviously I've got the ingredients and the instructions on here now, but just watch for that, because I don't know why. So avoid the app basically and just go to it through a browser. I'll pop the link in the description to get to this recipe, and if I can't get it to work, I'll just type it out for you. There's not much to it, to be honest, so I'll be able to pop it there one way or another. So these are all your ingredients. So it's quite simple, to be honest. You'll grate some zest and things like that. That's the first step. So you need about 1 kilogram of this mixed fruit. So you can just buy them in the bags, and especially at Christmas, they're everywhere. So these ones are just from Aldi. I can't remember how much they were, to be honest. So they're 500 gram bags. So I've got 2 of those. Plain flour, baking powder, standard stuff. Light brown sugar. And then ground almonds and flaked almonds as well. I just picked up some cherries. Now, this isn't in the actual recipe. Now, this is personal preference, because I know some people love them and some people hate them. So we're going to stick a few in this time and see what it tastes like. Vanilla, eggs, and then just a variety of different spices. So ground mixed spice. So I already had these, so I haven't had to buy any. Cinnamon and ground cloves as well. And then you will need some kind of alcohol, because this is what you need to make the cake with initially, and then you need to feed the cake, which is why I said I'm a little bit late in making it this year, because you need really a few weeks to keep topping it up with the alcohol. Because that's what keeps it moist and nice, basically, and preserves it, because if you didn't preserve it, then it would go mouldy. So we tried one last year with doing it with tea instead of alcohol, but it went mouldy because they just don't keep in the same way. So just bear that in mind. You can't really, I find personally that you can't really taste it a lot once it's in the cake, and if you don't, when you're feeding it every week, I just use a couple of tablespoons of it. So on here it says you can use sherry, whiskey or rum, and then you need plus extra for feeders. So you need 150 ml, or brandy, sorry. But we've done it with, Russ is going to correct me now, spice rum the last 2 years, and that's been really nice, but we haven't got any. I'm not buying a whole bottle of that because it isn't something that we drink on its own, so it would just be a waste. So we're going to go with this time. I'm going to do it with this brandy, and this is one we just had. Again, we don't really drink it. It was just part of our drinks collection. So we'll try that and see what happens. So the first part of this doesn't actually even involve putting the cake together to begin with. So the first thing that you need to do is get yourself a large pan and you need to basically boil the dried mixed fruit with your sugar, butter and your alcohol, and your zest of your lemon and orange in here, and bring it to the boil so it goes like a really sugary sticky mixture, and that's basically the base of your cake, and then you stir in everything else afterwards. So, and you need to let this cool as well for half an hour before you do anything else, so that's good to know. So if you're planning on doing this all in one go, you might not be able to, because you need to do this bit first. So follow me while I put this little bit together to begin with. Okay folks, the first thing that I need to do before I can boil it is to juice and zest the orange and the lemon. So I'm using my TikTok bowls. So for those of you that haven't watched the autumn cake vlog, then please go back and have a little look at these, because they are really, really handy. So these come out and you can have different graters in there, and it just goes straight into the bowl, so no mess. And I've also got my little juicer thing here as well. So let's grate these.
Snowflakes falling on the window pane, kettle's on, it's Christmas again. Mixing bowls out, flour in the air, cinnamon.
Okay, that's done. So they've been juiced and zest. You don't get much, to be fair. So now I'm just going to weigh out the brown sugar and butter, and also the alcohol as well.
Snowflakes falling on the window pane, kettle's on, it's Christmas again. Mixing bowls out, flour in the air.
So I'm just going to now pop everything in this pan. So I've just tipped the brown sugar straight in there. So just giving it a little bash out with the spoon, but you can't sieve that or anything, it's too dense. So I'm going to put both bags of the fruit in there now. So pop it. This pan might, I'm going to get another pan. This isn't going to be big enough. I need my big one. 2 seconds. There we go. Swap to the other one. So yeah, just tip the brown sugar in there, get all the fruit in. So make sure you get all your bits out. So you might have to just break it up a little bit. Don't worry, my hands are clean. Oh, and chuck it everywhere in the process. So it seems like quite a lot, but this is what makes it as dense as it goes. This is what makes a good Christmas cake. Now I'm sure some people have got kind of traditional home, recipes that have been passed down. I'd love to know if you do a passed down recipe. That would be something I'd be really interested in, and how different it is to something like this. That would be really interesting to know. I've just thought I'm just going to have to chop my cherries in a second, because I haven't done that. Let me just check the recipe, make sure I'm putting in everything that I need to. Don't want to be missing anything. So 1 kilogram of your mixed dried fruit, your zest and your juice of 1 orange and lemon. That's the lemon juice. That's the orange juice. Oh, a little pip in there. Let's get them out. If I can. The zest. This might make horrible noise, so 2 seconds. Let's just scrape the zest out of that metal bowl. The alcohol. As I said, I'm going to use brandy for this one. 150 ml. And then also your butter. So this should be a bit more softened than it is, but it'll melt down. So now we need to put it on some heat, bring it to the boil, and then lower the heat and let it simmer for 5 minutes. Once that's done, you need to tip it out of the pan into a different bowl and then leave it to cool for 30 minutes. So let's do that now. Nearly forgot the cherries, folks. Oh, I don't really know how many to put in of these. I'm going to guess in here. And I think they need to be quite small. Russ has just nipped out with Theo, so I can't even ask him how many he wants. I'm tempted to just put the whole pot in, because what else am I going to use them for? And we'll get some more if we want to have drinks with cherries in. Right, let me chop them up. Tub, so just roughly chopped. It's not actually that many, so I think for the size of the pan this will be absolutely fine. Right, so I'm just going to add these in here and then we'll get it on. Ooh. Already dropping them everywhere. You can't really see what I'm doing either. There we go. Right, let's turn it on. There you go, folks. So once you've had it on for a couple of minutes and it's starting to heat through, your butter will melt completely. Do keep stirring it though, because you've got your brown sugar in there. You don't want that to catch on the bottom, because if it burns, it won't taste very nice at all. So yeah, you just leave this now, and then basically when it's done and you put it into the bowl to cool, it will go a lot thicker than this now, because the sugar will obviously start to set itself. So yeah, so let's get this up to the boil now. But this is the consistency that you're looking for, and the smell is amazing. So literally fill your house with like Christmassy smells, so which is really, really nice. Right, folks, I'd say we're about done now. So it's been simmering away for 5 minutes, and it's definitely got thicker in consistency from when we first did it. And as you can see now, the fruit has taken on some of the alcohol and the sugar, so it's plumped it out a bit. Honestly, it smells so nice. So now you just need to transfer this to another bowl so that it can cool down. So I'm just going to use this mixing bowl here and get it tipped into there. Now, whilst that's cooling away on there, you need to preheat your oven, but it's a lot lower temperature than what an average cake is. So you only want it at 150 degrees. So the next bit is you need to line your cake tins, but you need to do them properly. So if you've watched my previous vlogs on cake making, you'll see I just use normally those pre-cut baking paper sheets on these to just line the bottom. But you can't really do that with Christmas cake. So I'm going to have to do it by hand. So I'll cut out a circle that's bigger than this so that it lines up to the sides and probably just goes over a tiny little bit. So you want to encase the whole thing. So that's how I've done it in previous years, and it's worked absolutely fine. Having the bit of an overhang means that once it's cooked, because I don't take it out of that baking paper wrapper once I've done that. I'll just leave it hanging over, and then once it's cooled completely and it's ready to be put in a cake tin, and then obviously fed week on week, you can just fold in the top and it just covers the top of the cake. So that will probably be the plan this time as well. If you read the Good Food recipe though, it wants you to do it in a bigger cake tin, so it really depends what you want. So this says 20cm cake tin, which is quite big. Line with a double layer of baking parchment, then wrap a double layer of newspaper around the outside and tie with string. Now, I don't know enough to know what that actually does. I've never done it with the newspaper thing, and it's not made any difference. From doing them last year in these smaller ones though, what I will do this time is probably put them in for an hour and then put a bit of foil over the top to stop them from catching, because they did ever so slightly catch on top, because obviously they are cooking for quite a long time. So again, another thing to bear in mind is that whilst you're waiting for that to cool for half an hour, once you actually get them in the oven, they're going to take a good few hours, around 2 hours normally, to get this done. So Just something to bear in mind. Right, folks, so I've lined those. Now, I do mine quite rough. You do whatever you prefer. So I just end up scrunching my baking paper up just so you can move it around a bit better. So they're all different sizes. This is how it always ends up. I don't actually bother greasing anything because the weight of the cake, once it's cooled completely, should just drop out anyway. And to be honest, you want to keep them wrapped in some kind of baking paper when you put them in the tin, to keep it all together and stuff. So yeah, they're done. So I just need to measure out the rest of the ingredients now. Now I'm just going to measure out the other ingredients, then I'll speed this up. So you want 175 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of ground almonds. You want your spices, so 2 teaspoons of your mixed one, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves because that's quite strong, 100 grams of your flaked almonds, 4 large eggs, and then 1 teaspoon of your vanilla. And how much baking powder?
Snowflakes falling on the window pane. Kettle's on its Christmas again. Mixing bowls out, flour in the air. Cinnamon whispers everywhere. We'll roll out joy on the countertop with sugar and spice that'll never stop. Turn up the tunes, let the laughter start. It's Christmas time at Holmes at Heart.
Okay, folks, so this is all combined now. So it's still a little bit warm, but that helps with your mix. So it goes a little bit claggy, so don't be worried about that. I was just a bit worried about that I didn't think it'd combine. So Russ has just come in to give it a bit of a stir because my arms are killing me. So that's what it goes like. That's the consistency. So now it makes a lot. So obviously if you're going to do this in one cake, that is absolutely ginormous. So just bear in mind for that cooking time. So I'm going to put these in here now. I'm going to fill them quite a lot to the top. And then I'll see if I've got anything left. If I have, I might have to do another little one. So we'll see how we go.
Holmes at Heart. Shortbread stars and gingerbread men. We'll ice them up and eat them again. Aprons dusted, the carols play. Warm wishes rise like a fresh souffle. Pop on the kettle, pour a brew.
Right, folks, they're all done now. So actually it was perfect. So that's all of the mixture in those 3. So that's worked out really, really well. So chuffed with that. So I'm going to put them in the oven now, 150. Going to put them in for an hour. Then I'll have a look at them. And then, like I say, I might put foil tops over if I think they're going to brown too much, because you don't want to burn them. It'll just go really, really bitter. So just keep an eye on them. So we'll set a timer and keep an eye on them. Right, folks, there we go. Those are done now. They've come out quite well, actually. I think I just caught some of these ever so tiny little bit. So I had them in for an hour, and then I just made just some little things just to go over the top for the last half an hour. So this size has been in for an hour and a half, and they're now cooked perfect. So just put a skewer in. Oh, and I've pulled a raisin out. But they are done. So I'll leave them to cool now. And then once they've cooled completely, what I'll do is I'll transfer them to just a bog standard cake tin. And then I believe the last bit of the recipe, let me just check actually, 2 seconds. Right, I just wanted to check that before I told you. So now they're like this, so what you need to do is then poke some holes in each one of the cakes, and then you get your alcohol, whichever one you put in with your main mixture, and you pour over 2 tablespoons of the alcohol so that it soaks into the holes that you've put in there. and then you let them cool completely once you've done that. And that's basically how you will feed it. So you won't have to put in holes every time, you shouldn't need to, because you're already going to make those in a second. So once you've had them in your tin, it can just stay in there then until you're ready to ice it. And what you would do every time you take them out, so every week leading up to the point that you want to ice it, you would go in and do the same thing. So you'd do 2 tablespoons of alcohol and keep feeding them every week until you're ready. So you need to pick a date that you want to actually ice your cakes, because then you won't feed it a week before that date. You will just leave it. So 2 weeks before you're ready to ice will be the last feed of the cake, which is why you need to do it now really if you are going to make one, because you need time to be able to feed it with the alcohol so that it keeps it all moist and really, really nice. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to feed them now, let them cool, and then I'll pop them in the tins. So I won't be able to show you them iced in this vlog because I'm not going to do that for a good few weeks now. The plan is probably for me to do it around the beginning of December, so I haven't given myself a lot of time. I've got about 3 weeks of feeding for these ones. So normally I tend to do kind of 4 to 5, which is why I said I was a little bit late doing these this year. So then for the one for my mum and dad, they're not going to want a fully iced cake, so I'm probably just going to do a really thin marzipan topper and then an icing topper for them. I will probably fully ice the one for us because I personally quite like it. And then I've also done one for my best friend's mum and dad as well. So I'll ask her what their preference is for theirs. So yeah, that'll be all the cakes then kind of given out and things like that. So yeah, if you want to make similar for family and friends, that's the mixture that I would recommend, and you'll get 3 6-inch cakes out of that. And obviously you're looking way cheaper. You would pay, as I said, fully iced, looking at around the 15 to 20 quid mark now for something that had full icing on there as well. So especially if you go and get your ingredients from somewhere like Lidl or Aldi, that's really competitive pricing. So you can get this for really, really cheap, and it's just a lot more cost effective. And what's nicer than giving something like this to somebody as a little Christmas gift as well? If you don't do traditional gifts, then give them something like this. You can't beat homemade stuff. So yeah, I will feed these now. And there we go, folks. So there's the Christmas cakes all done. So just done my little thumbnail for them, and they look ever so sweet. Look, there's some Christmas themed tea towel in the background. So just to say, just obviously keep your whatever alcohol you've chosen to use. You will need that again. So obviously every time that you feed the cake, you need to use the same alcohol really if you can. So if you haven't obviously got that already at home, you need to buy it. Just make sure you're buying enough to be able to do the initial 150 ml and then be able to do the 2 tablespoons in each cake, however many weeks you've got until you decide to ice it. So just make sure you've got enough really to keep that process going, because it will make a difference in the end in regards to the taste. So I'm going to leave that one there. There will be lots of Christmas baking coming up. In the Holmes at Heart household, we're very much a fan of Christmas baking and getting into the Christmas spirit. We both love Christmas. It's our favourite time of year. So if you're looking for that kind of content and you also love Christmas, ours is a channel that you're going to want to watch over the next coming weeks in terms of Christmas decorations, getting ready for the big day, also things like just getting all the Christmas baking together and all the food prep. So we love to make things like homemade sausage rolls, gingerbread men, and there is some very, very yummy gingerbread type brownie things that I made last year that I'm definitely wanting to bring back this year because they were really, really good. So there's going to be lots of stuff like that coming up on the channel over the coming weeks in the lead up to Christmas. So please do subscribe to the channel. It really, really does help us grow. There's absolutely no cost to you to do that, and it just means that we can expand the channel more and more as we grow. Obviously we're still quite new, so all of the interactions really do help us. And if you do like the content, please do like and comment on the videos. Let us know what you're getting up to in regards to the vlogs that we're posting, and any recipes and things like that I'm always interested in, so please do let me know what you're getting up to yourselves. So I'm going to leave this one here, and when I get round to icing them I will probably do another vlog on it just to show you so you can see the end-to-end result. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really hope that you do make your own Christmas cakes, and let me know if you do, especially if this is going to be the first year that you try it and if you think then it's going to become a bit of a tradition for you. We only tried it, as I say, a couple of years ago, and now it's become a bit of a thing every year that we like doing. So it's like the start of the Christmas period for us. So yeah, so I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.